Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my patch 914 mid lane solo queue rundown. As always, going through some of the stronger champions of the patch. Of course, with this patch, we saw a lot of bugs. A lot of bugs. 70 or more bugs with the patch. It seems like Riot have slowly gotten rid of most of them as of right now. We saw things like the any perma-stun, just silly stuff. But as of right now, it seems like they've fixed most of the bugs in the game. So obviously, starting off with my S tiers, let's start with the Ahri. Ahri was changed this patch. In my opinion, Ahri was buffed. So Ahri's E now interrupts dashes, but her E now only gives you a damage amplifier for 3 seconds as opposed to the 5 seconds previously. I think having the interrupt on the E is going to help her in a lot of matchups. Things like the Azir, the LeBlanc, things like Diana. The E just stops the dash completely, guys. Stops the damage as well. And this is very important. So I think Ahri is better this patch. Moving across is the Malzahar. Malz has just been a really solid pick for the last like 5-6 patches, guys. He performs very well, super consistent. Moving down, Mordekaiser was nerfed slightly, not big nerfs, just slight nerfs. In my opinion, Mordekaiser is still beyond broken. This champion, it is beyond broken. It's just so stupid if you learn it. Very simple champion, simple to execute. You can 1v9. It just offers everything you want in a mid laner. Next up is the Kled. Kled was buffed. I don't know why Kled was buffed. Kled has healing reduction. You can apply Grievous Wounds onto your opponents. Grievous Wounds, of course, it's a very, very strong thing to have in your kit. And now Kled has it. And he already was a pretty good mid laner. And in my opinion right now, it's so easy to abuse some of these bruises like the Kled, like the Camille, like the Rumble, Aatrox, Renekton. These picks all do well in the mid lane right now, guys. They do super well into a lot of the matchups. If you're a top laner, now is your time, in my opinion, to come to mid, start running really aggressive runes, like press the attack Kled with Ignite, is all in, man. You'll get so many solo kills. Moving down to the Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia was buffed this patch. You can now buffer her spells. The E healing on enemies is larger. The E healing on minions and monsters is smaller. So you're going to be having to run the domination tree second on Cassio always now, because your sustain is much less. Because you can't really just full heal off a minion wave unless you have that domination. Because I think you're only getting, I think it's like 25% or like 75% less healing on minions and monsters now. So yeah, Cassiopeia is much stronger, it's cleaner, it's smoother. But as always, also take note the W has changed, which helps a lot of her matchups. You can now W on top of yourself. Beforehand, your W had like a minute, like it would, if you cast your W on top of yourself, it's going to go like 500 range or like 300 range in front of you. So if an Aurelia jumped onto you or a Yasuo, you can't get your W onto them and ground them. Now, if a Yasuo Aurelia jumps onto you, you just put your W onto yourself. Even things like LeBlanc. If LeBlanc goes to W dash in, just put your W down on yourself. She can't dash back. Instantly on top of yourself. So I think Cassio is stronger. She's going to have a really nice time into a lot of these mobility champions, these all-in champs. It's going to, obviously it takes skills, mechanics to get these W's off in time, but overall Cassiopeia is stronger. Definitely recommend giving her a go. Next up we have the Talon, the best AD assassin right now. Talon's been performing very well in this patch and last patch and almost every patch. Talon is just a perma. Roma is pretty much just a better Kiana, which I'll be talking about a little bit later. Talon offers everything you want in a mid laner. And lastly is the Neeko. Neeko saw nerfs this patch. Mainly to AD on hit Neeko. I think that the Glacial Neeko is still fine, and it's pretty much a similar Ahri setup, and it's going to give you a little bit more mobility, in my opinion. In the mid to late stages of the game, you can use your W to kind of juke out your opponents. Okay, moving down to some of my A tiers. We see the Nocturne mid. As always, I love Nocturne mid. Please, just give it a go. Play Nocturne mid. Go with a Tiamat Rush into Black Cleaver, into Spear of Sojin, into GA. Just give it a go with Lethal Tempo. You will probably climb. It is super simple, guys. Next up is the Swain. Swain has been buffed. He's definitely a stronger Swain. Is he strong enough to be classified as broken like some people are saying? I don't think so. He's too short range. Hard CC is always going to counter him. He can be kited very easily mid to late. But as of right now, I mean, he's a very simple champion to play. Laning phase a little bit better. Tankier in the mid to later stages of the game. He's a better Swain. And definitely give him a go if you've already played a little, like on the rework. If you've put a little bit of time into him, maybe look to pick him back up and you could see yourself climbing some divisions. Rumble mid is very strong. We saw Bjergsen try in the LCS. I don't think he played too well on it, but I definitely know that the champion is good in the mid lane. Renekton, these bruises are performing extremely well. The Renekton, the Aatrox, the Camille, all very good on this patch. The Aatrox revive mechanic has been removed. A lot of people think this is going to kill Aatrox. In my opinion, the revive mechanic was cool and all, but at the end of the day, a lot of the times, like, you would get revived, like, you would die, you get revived, you're so slow, you do nothing afterwards most of the time. So they've buffed Aatrox's actual kit by taking away the revive mechanic. So Aatrox is pretty much still a very, very strong laner. The cooldown on the ultimate is lower now, so you can pop that very frequently, and it's buffed as well, the ultimate. So I think that Aatrox is still sitting in that A tier and performing very well. Sylas was also changed, guys. He is more of a mid laner now. They're trying to take him away from the jungle. You have that initial shield that you're going to be getting on the E, the first cast of the E, but it's only a magic damage shield. So you can't really blind pick the Sylas, because if they pick an AD champion, you'll be struggling. Sylas into mages is going to work very well now, because you can negate a lot of their poke with your E. You can dodge, get a magic damage shield, all in. You also have more damage on your Q with better AP ratios. So Sylas is definitely a better champion mid lane this patch. Probably going to start steering away from the jungle, in my opinion. And you also have less damage reduction on minions. So you're going to be doing better clears on the minion line, which is the biggest problem I had with him last patch. Minions, you really did struggle to clear them in with, I think it was like a 70% less damage to minions with your passive, which kind of sucked. Katarina buffed this patch, 20% extra grievous wounds, I think. Like healing, yeah, grievous wounds, I'm pretty sure, 20%. Katarina has always been a strong champion. She's slightly stronger now. Not quite broken. Aurelion was changed. He was buffed. Aurelion Sol, he's not quite strong enough at the moment. In the meta right now, you can probably run Aurelion as a counter pick to things like the Azir, things like the Rise, where you want to shove them and roam faster. But if you blind pick Aurelion Sol and the enemy picks like Kled, Ahri, Talon, Nocturne, anything with you, Engage, Irelia, you're fucked. You're done. It's over. Go next. It's so hard to lane. You can't. To clear with the Aurelion, you have to move up very deep in the lane. So any of these champions that want hard engage on you, you cannot deal with them. You got to sit under tower. It is pretty much counterintuitive, because you want to be shoving and roaming, not sitting under tower on a roamer. That is Aurelion. So as of right now, Aurelion's okay as a counter pick, not in that S tier, that God tier pick as of right now. And that's about it for my A tiers. Moving down now to my B tiers, we see that any, I would have put any S+++ if the bug, the permastun bug remained, but fortunately they removed it. LS was quite unhappy about that. Diana, they nerfed Diana this patch. They actually overbuffed her apparently last patch. There's a lot of bugs with the champion, so they've increased mana, the mana cost of her W, and removed a couple of the bugs that you could do. So as of right now, Diana, like the full AP Electrocute build, Spellbinder Deathcap kind of setup is good, but not quite A or S tier. Moving down, what else do we see? The Qiyana. I've played about 60 or so games of this champion. It's very good, very potent early. If you don't snowball, probably go next game. It doesn't scale very well. You do struggle in the mid to late stage of the game. Any type of hard CC, it's over for you. But as of right now, I think the champion is good. If you main it and maybe practice, like it takes like 30-40 games to get decent at this champion, as opposed to Mordekaiser, which is like 5 games. You can maybe get some good results. Jace was buffed this patch. He's pretty much back to his former self. They've taken a lot of the strength away from his early game, shifted it to his mid-late game. So it's kind of a catch-22, because Jace is a really good champion because he's so strong early. So they've taken away a little bit of that strength early, and just put a little bit more scaling in. I feel like you want to have a massive impact early and hard snowball the game on Jace. That's the style it is. Mid to late, you're always kind of getting picked off low mobility. So, I mean, I think Jace is somewhat stronger in the later stages, weaker in the early. I don't really know what this means for Jace. I think Jace is okay, B tier. I can't really tell right now what he's going to be like. I don't think you're going to be wanting to pick Jace to scale into late game. You pick Jace to dominate early. So they've taken a little bit of that away, so I'm not too sure how he's going to be performing on the patch. Rise was also changed. Rise is much smoother, much cleaner. The Qs come out way better. Any type of quality of life change, champions like these, like a Rise, where I think Ryze right now is super noob friendly. Easy wave clear, easy team fighting. The only problem is very short range, no shield now. So that's the only problem I have with Ryze. I think Ryze is good though. Definitely playable and climbable on 914. What else was changed? Akali. Akali was buffed. Full assassin Akali. Full AP. So much damage. Unfortunately, it seems like the W, it just seems a little bit worse. I feel like people, you have a much harder time going into stealth. People are picking you out more in your shroud. And just because you have a little bit extra damage, I still think it's super hard to execute. Akali is a very mechanical champion, and I wouldn't really recommend, as of right now, going in deep diving and spamming Akali. Moving down to my C tiers, my not optimal tiers. Yasuo, the wind wall is bugged. There's a lot of problems with Yasuo right now. The meta doesn't really suit him. Lux was buffed in the mid lane. Still not enough. Lux falls into the same category of having a lot of problems, really lacking in mobility. They nerfed the W, the shield for Lux, but they buffed the ultimate. The damage they buffed, but the cooldown, unless you like beforehand, when you go to kill on Lux ult, it would like half the cooldown. Now they've just brought the cooldown very low. I think 40 seconds flat, so like 20, you could maybe get it to like 20 something seconds in the later stage of the game, level 16, which is pretty good. But yeah, I just don't think her matchups right now in the mid lane are too good. And yeah, I'm not too sure. I think she's okay. Probably still going to be played as a supportive champion, but definitely going to be seeing less Lux in your games, in my opinion. What else do we have? LeBlanc, C tier LeBlanc. I think LeBlanc is terrible. I think that you should not be playing LeBlanc to climb with. Can hardly 100-0 champions anymore. Has really bad matchups in the mid lane. Struggles to snowball the game. Everybody building magic resist. Lots of tanks. It's just not good. Don't pick LeBlanc right now. What else can we talk about? That's about it. You can see one champion that's not even included in my tier list. That is Galio. I don't know what they were thinking, but they've just like, they've pretty much like, you cannot flash W on Galio now. So it's like, why would you pick him? Why would you pick him? It's just, it's too hard to get a proper engage off. I don't know what Riot are thinking. Champion has like a 30% win rate. Don't pick Galio. Galio is not a champion. That's it for my 914 mid lane solo queue tier list, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If I've missed the champion, if I should have put a champion somewhere else maybe. And that's about it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.